Hello guys. Today we're going to delve into an era that has, long been a dream for so many of us. An era defined not just by the legends it left behind, but by the way it looked, the way it felt. Picture this: fabulous architectural designs, towering castles draped in ivy, stained glass windows that catch the morning light and scatter it like little jewels across cold stone floors. It was a world where every corridor whispered secrets, where cloaked riders passed beneath weathered stone archways at the break of dawn, and candlelight flickered against painted walls, telling stories most have long forgotten. But beneath the beauty, the grandeur, it was also a time of rigid ceremony and delicate power. One misstep, one sideways glance, and an entire alliance could crumble like old parchment. Young queens, barely more than girls, were burdened with the weight of entire kingdoms, all beneath layers of embroidery and expectation. Life in this world moved to the rhythm of chapel bells and courtly whispers, and though the gowns shimmered and the halls glittered, every moment demanded grace, patience, and quiet, unshakable strength. So, get comfortable, dim the lights, and maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, because tonight we're going back to the 15th century, the enchanted, the perilous, the unforgettable world of the late medieval age. Tonight, we step into the embroidered slippers of a young queen in the 14th century, her hair coiled in tight braids, her chamber heavy with the scent of lavender, her destiny stitched into stone walls and velvet halls. And, fair warning, you're probably not going to survive a full day of royal duties. I mean, between the corsetry, the endless courtly chatter, and the constant pressure of saying the exact right thing to the exact right nobleman, you might be begging for a nap by lunchtime. So, hey, before we start, take a second to like this video and subscribe if you genuinely enjoy this sort of thing, okay? Oh, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I love knowing where everyone is drifting off from. All right, let's begin. You're roused before the sun. Pale grey light creeps through the embroidered curtains of your high stone chamber. The chapel bells haven't even rung prime yet, but already the castle stirs. There's a soft knock. Your chief lady-in-waiting enters, carrying a silver ewer of rosewater, still warm, and a linen cloth. Time to begin the rituals of the day. The grand oak bed creaks softly as you sit up. The silk sheets whisper against your skin. Above, a canopy of blue damask embroidered with golden fleur-de-lis shimmers faintly, a gift from your mother's dowry chest. The floor is cold, so you slip into your lamb's wool slippers, sighing as the maidservants sweep back the velvet drapes. Ah, morning air, faint, crisp, alive. Now comes the toilette, the part of your day you control the least. A procession of attendants flows in, each with a task: scented oils to comb through your long hair, a stiff kirtle for layering, and a small silver mirror, a luxury really, so you can see the work. Your eyebrows, darkened with soot, your lips daubed with crushed mulberry. You stifle a yawn, and it's not even fully morning. Outside, the castle is weaking. Hooves clatter in the courtyard. A dog barks. Kitchen staff shout across the yard. Yes, you're a queen, but also just a young woman. And oh, how you long to run barefoot across the flagstones instead of enduring another day under jeweled circlets and veils. Finally, fully dressed, corseted, belted, layered, laced, you step into your solar, the private chamber, and waiting for you, your first royal audience of the day. A row of solemn men stand and bow as you enter. The steward, fussy, ink-stained. The chamberlain, sharp-eyed and sly. The visiting bishop, his gaze lingers a moment too long. You take your seat, a high-backed throne beneath a gilded canopy, a reminder to all who kneel that you rule by divine right.
A land dispute, a shipment of wool, brigands on the northern trade road. You nod thoughtfully, though your mind, it drifts. You wonder, has the falconer returned yet? You had hoped to fly your Merlin this morning. But you must appear composed, wise. One wrong word, and the web of loyalty might unravel. Historians still argue, did queens of your era really hold power, or were they just figureheads in silk? But you refuse to be dismissed. And now, the commoners. Petitions granted from farmers, merchants, tradesmen, voices trembling as they speak. A widow begs for protection. A vintner seeks royal favor. And here, in these small mercies, you feel it. A rare, true joy. This is when you feel most like a queen. But your stomach growls. The spiced wine and sweetmeats from earlier? Yeah, long gone. The sun slices across the stone floor. The chapel bell tolls terse, mid-morning. Soon, blessedly, there will be a break, maybe even a less formal gown. And so, the day begins. Velvet, ink, 1,000 small decisions. You are a queen, yes, but above all, you are young. And the world beyond these walls, it calls to you.
A bell echoes through the castle once again, this time announcing the approach of mid-morning. Servants bustle to prepare the morning meal, and you finally rise from your council chair, grateful for the chance to stretch your aching back and, escape the endless talk of taxes and tolls. You move toward the withdrawing room, where a lighter gown of soft wool and a fur-trimmed surcoat await you. A queen must appear stately, of course, but thankfully not every hour calls for brocade and pearls. Your ladies in waiting, always one step ahead, are already gathered. They greet you with practiced smiles and quick curtsies. One lifts a fine comb to your hair. Those elaborate morning braids must remain flawless, while another fusses over a tiny stain on your sleeve. You arch an eyebrow and murmur, "Surely no one will notice unless they intend to stare." A ripple of stifled laughter passes through the room.
It is a ritual of its own, the careful camaraderie of young noble women bound by duty, yet quick to grasp any fleeting moment of humor. You descend the grand spiral stair, stone worn smooth by centuries of feet, and enter the castle's great hall. Here the morning meal is laid, trenchers of warm bread, creamy fresh butter, honey from the royal hives, and small game pies, fragrant with rosemary. You take your seat at the high table beneath the carved royal crest, and the steward calls for silence as the bishop offers a brief blessing. You glance down the length of the hall. Pages and knight squires line the benches below, some trying and failing to look solemn, others sneaking bites before the blessing ends. A few catch your eye, then hastily look away, cheeks flushed. Aha, the perils of being a young queen among many hopeful noble sons. The meal is a quiet pleasure, though you note with some envy the thick slices of venison served to the knights. A queen must eat daintily, after all, or so your governess has long insisted. You sip watered wine, nibble bread, and listen to the murmured conversations that drift up the hall. Rumors of a tournament in the neighboring duchy, a merchant caravan returning with exotic spices, the sighting of a strange foreign ship along the coast. You lean in slightly, curiosity piqued. The world beyond your own lands always seems to shimmer with distant possibility. But soon the steward approaches again, resigned tone. Duty calls, and this time it is the chapel. Gentle exhale, with a resigned sigh, though not so loud that your chaplain might hear. You rise once more, your ladies following in a flurry of silks. The royal chapel is cool and dim, sunlight filtered through narrow stained glass. Hushed reverence, incense hangs thick in the air. You kneel before the carved altar, murmuring prayers, not merely for show, but for the sake of your people. A queen's heart must be open to heaven so her reign may prosper, or so the bishop often reminds you.
As the chant of the monks fills the vaulted space, your mind drifts again. You think of the castle gardens below, where roses climb along ancient stone. You think of the falconers in the mews tending sleek hunting birds. You think, most guiltily, of the fine Arabian mare stabled just beyond the outer bailey, her coat gleaming like sunlight on water. Historians still argue whether queens in this era could freely ride without escort. In truth, the answer depends on the queen. And today, you intend to find a way. The final hymn lingers through the rafters. You rise, smoothing your skirts. The chaplain bows. The bishop murmurs approval.
You smile, though your heart beats a little faster. Back in your solar, a trusted lady-in-waiting leans close. "The mare is ready," she whispers, "if it please your grace." Of course it does. Minutes later, beneath a fur-lined cloak and a modest veil, lest prying eyes spread gossip, you slip into the stable-yard. The Arabian snorts softly, hooves pawing the earth. You swing into the saddle, a lady's side saddle, of course, though it chafes at your adventurous spirit. A young squire hands you the reins, wide-eyed at the honor, and then freedom. Through the outer gates and down a wooded path, the wind lifting your veil, the mare's hooves striking sparks from the frozen ground. The cold stings your cheeks, but you laugh aloud. Here at last, you are not merely a figure upon a throne. You are yourself. Later, flushed and breathless, you return. There is time still before the midday meal, time enough to pause in the herb gardens, where sunlight warms ancient stone. The scent of rosemary, sage, and lavender fills the air. Bees hum lazily from blossom to blossom, and you trail your fingers through the leaves. Nearby, your physician tends the plants. "For strength, my lady," he says, plucking sprigs of thyme. "And for long life." "Long enough," you reply with a smile, "but perhaps not too dull." And with that, the bells call once more. The hour of noon approaches, and a queen's duties cannot be delayed.
The bells fade behind you as you cross the inner courtyard toward the castle's bustling kitchens. You're not here merely as a royal visitor. No, today you're an active participant in the day's charitable duties. Sunlight glances off the old stone walls, and the air smells like baking bread and simmering broth. That comforting aroma that wraps around you like a woolen shawl. Somewhere nearby, faint amusement. Chickens cluck indignantly as a pair of young scullery boys chase them out of the herb patch, arms flailing, feet slipping. Medieval multitasking at its finest. Your steward meets you at the arched door, bowing low with practiced grace. "The first baskets are ready, Your Grace." Each week, as tradition demands, and as your own conscience prefers, food from the royal kitchens is set aside for the poor of the city. But today you oversee the preparation yourself. Inside, the great hearth blazes. Cooks and servants bustle around, flour-dusted and flush from the heat. The room smells of yeast, honeyed apples, and roasting fat. You lift a hem of your gown just slightly to dodge the rush of scurrying feet. The baskets overflow, loaves, wheels of cheese, orchard apples still dusted with soil, cured meats that gleam with spice and salt. You dip your hands into a basket of apples, turning one gently in your fingers. "These," you say, smiling, "will sweeten someone's day, I think." The steward chuckles. Your Grace has a generous heart. Historians still argue, rather endlessly, whether queens of your time had any true agency in such acts of charity, or if they simply endorsed what the court arranged. But here, beneath soot-stained rafters, in the warmth of your own kitchens, there is no doubt. These are your people, and this kindness, it's yours alone. With baskets loaded into carts, you step into the winter sun. It's sharp and bright. The castle gates creak open behind you, and your small entourage begins the slow procession into the city beyond. Your city, a tangle of crooked lanes, half-timbered houses leaning like gossiping neighbors, smoke curling from chimney pots, and shopkeepers calling their wares with eager voices. Narrow alleys open into wide market squares, bustling, alive with life and color. And you, a queen among the people. Today you have chosen to ride astride, yes, an unladylike choice, some might whisper behind gloved hands, but practicality wins every time. Your guards fan out, but not too closely. You want to be seen. You want the people to feel that their sovereign walks among them. The first stop, the almshouse by the old churchyard, a place of rest, of final hope, of quiet dignity. The abbess meets you with a deep curtsy. Her habit flutters like black wings in the breeze. "Your Grace honors us," she says, voice thick with gratitude. You dismount, lift your skirts, step inside. The air is heavy with herbs and wood smoke. Faces, weathered, weary, innocent, old, turn toward you. Some smile, others just stare, silently, reverently. You kneel, offer bread to an elderly man, your voice soft and real. Eat well, good sir, it is a gift from my table. His eyes glisten, he bows his head. Moments like this, small, fleeting, they remind you why these days matter so much. Outside, a group of children gathers, wide-eyed, sleeves clutched tight in cold little fists. They whisper to each other with barely contained excitement. Then one brave girl steps forward and blurts out, "Are you really the queen?"
You smile, genuinely. Then you lower your hood so the sun catches your hair like molten gold. "I am. And what might your name be?" And so begins a cheerful exchange, giggles, questions, wide-eyed wonder. It leaves your heart lighter than any velvet-draped banquet ever could. By daylight, the tour winds through the city center. Market stalls crowd the square, bright with boats of crimson cloth, sharp with the scent of roasted chestnuts and mulled wine. Vendors call greetings, apprentices bow, old women whisper blessings as you pass. You pause and tell me, might I buy a small handkerchief for a fair price? The merchant's face flushes crimson. "For your grace, a gift freely given." Ah, the small pleasures of rank. A few streets on, the clang of iron meets your ears. The blacksmith's yard. Sparks fly, apprentices lean out for a better view. You raise a hand, a wave. Cheers erupt! The crowd responds not with fear, but with cheering. A crown is not so distant a thing today. Historians still debate how often queens truly ventured into their towns. Some say rarely, others only under watchful eyes. But today proves otherwise. The bond between sovereign and subject doesn't need to be cold. As the sun dips low, you return to the castle. Once more you pass under fluttering banners, the guards salute, the portcullis creaks down slowly behind you. There is a calm satisfaction in your step now as you hand your riding gloves to a waiting page. Duty fulfilled, spirits lifted. And tomorrow? Well, tomorrow may bring heavier burdens, envoys, intrigues, scrolls, signatures. But tonight you are content. Because a queen, after all, is not just a ruler of lands, but when she chooses, a ruler of hearts.
Psst. Hey, my friend. I'm back. As we watched, in part 1, we followed our young queen as she began her day with graceful rituals and, let's say, some very intense breakfast meetings. Ooh, wait a minute. Did you skip part 1? Yep, I smell it. I smell betrayal. You didn't watch the first part, did you? My dear viewer, that part had silk sheets, secret letters, and even some very royal blushing. It was like honey-dipped drama with a side of power moves. You seriously missed out. You really should go back and watch it now.
Because if you didn't watch the previous part, you're not going to understand anything we're talking about in this video. Even though that video only got 5 views. Hey, who said that out loud? Anyway, you're here now, and trust me, this part, it goes deeper. In part 2, things take a turn. The queen receives a mysterious scroll, sealed with deep blue wax, of course. And suddenly, she's not sipping honeyed wine anymore. She's riding into the heart of politics, pageantry, and power plays, with a smile sharper than any sword.
There's a new castle, a rival king, a dance of diplomacy where every toast, every glance, and even every arrow fired in the woods means something more. And between you and me, not everyone in that grand hall is telling the truth. Oh yes, alliances are tested, arrows fly, goblets clink, and our queen, she plays the game like a master. So sit back, tighten your cloak, and ready your goblet, because this isn't just the rest of her day, it's a royal chess match played on a golden board beneath flickering torchlight. This is part 2 of a day in the life of a young queen. And if you thought morning politics were dramatic, just wait till night falls. And please, I really want big engagement on this video. Just comment anything really. I want a full-on invasion in the comment section. I put a lot of effort into making these videos, so thank you so much. And now, let's get started.
The dawn is still pale when a messenger arrives, breathless, cloak spattered with mud from the northern roads. You've barely sipped your morning broth when the scroll is presented, sealed with deep blue wax, stamped with the crest of a neighboring kingdom. An invitation. A diplomatic visit. You're requested, warmly but unmistakably, to attend a week of festivities at the court of King Theobald, your realm's most stalwart ally, and, some whisper, its most calculating one. You exhale slowly. Politics before pleasure, as always. Soon your chambers hum with activity. Maids bustle about with arms full of velvet gowns and fur-lined cloaks. The chamberlain rattles off a list of customs and protocols, each one somehow more tedious than the last. But the thought of traveling beyond your own castle walls, of stepping into another world of courtly splendor, that stirs something in you. By mid-morning, your procession is ready. Horses gleam, harnesses polished bright. Your carriage, a magnificent thing with carved lions at the corners, awaits beneath the gatehouse. You choose to ride part of the way on horseback, a subtle signal of strength. After all, queens of your era are often viewed through the veil of frailty or ornamentation. You prefer to remind your peers otherwise. The journey unfolds through rolling fields and dense green woods, each turn of the road dotted with small villages. Peasants pause in their work to wave. Children dart to the roadside just to glimpse the passing queen. At each stop, your herald announces, Her Majesty, Queen of the Eastern Realm, beloved guardian of her people. A bit grandiose, but why deny them a little theatre? Historians still argue whether such royal progresses were truly effective diplomacy or merely extravagant pageants for show. But there's no denying their impact. Every bow, every curtsy, every cheer knits the realm just a little closer together. And then, by the third day, distant banners herald your approach. King Theobald's stronghold looms on a craggy hill, its towers piercing the sky. Trumpets sound from the battlements. The port castle rises, and there he is, Theobald himself, broad-shouldered, crimson cloak, silver beard, neatly trimmed. He bows low, smiling with the practiced warmth of a seasoned monarch. Your Majesty honors us with her presence. Ah, the dance begins. Escorted inside, you pass through cavernous halls, hung with ancient tapestries and gleaming suits of armor. Courtiers line the path, murmuring, bowing, and somewhere in the shadows, scribes no doubt jot down every detail for posterity or gossip. You're shown to a lavish guest chamber. Vaulted ceilings, thick carpets, a bed large enough to swallow 3 queens. Servants lay out gifts, silks from the East, jeweled hair combs, delicate glassware. Theobald is nothing if not generous. The week unfolds in a blur, banquets, hunts, and most importantly, negotiations. By day, you spar with Theobald over matters of trade and alliance, all masked beneath layers of polite conversation. By night, the halls resound with music, the clink of goblets, the rustle of silk skirts. At one feast, a troupe of minstrels sings of legendary queens, women whose wisdom outshone their beauty. You raise a brow at Theobald across the table, amused. He lifts his goblet in subtle salute. Not all diplomacy is sealed with parchment and wax. Much is conveyed in glances, in laughter, in the unspoken language of courtly games. Then one afternoon, you join a hunting party in the royal forest, a display of strength and grace. Dressed in green velvet, bow in hand, you guide your horse beneath towering oaks. The crisp air carries the scent of pine and earth. A sharp stag bolts from the brush, and, with practiced motion, you loose your arrow. It flies true, strikes clean, and the party erupts in cheers, and Theobald himself offers hearty praise, a queen most formidable, both in council and in the field. Later that night, beneath candlelight in the council chamber, negotiations resume. Treaties are discussed, borders reaffirmed, future marriages quietly proposed.
As you mount your horse for the return, Theobald clasps your hand. Until we meet again, Your Majesty, may fortune favor your reign. You smile, ever the Queen. And yours, my friend, until then. The road home winds beneath a golden sky. Your escort rides close. The sun dips low, and the horizon blushes pink. You lean back in the saddle, tired but content. Diplomacy may be a delicate game, but today you have played it well.
Dawn seeps through your chamber's narrow windows, brushing the cold stone with soft hues of rose and gold. Oh, a quiet morning, at least on the surface. Now, today, there's no grand banquet, no foreign dignitaries sweeping in with their pomp and demands, no dramatic hunts or over-the-top parades. Nope, today's all about the quieter stuff, the relentless tide of royal duty. Lucky you. So you rise. No need for the towering brocade robes or gilded gowns, just a simple dress of deep blue wool. Comfortable, clean, unpretentious, and thank the stars for that. Whew. Then it's off to the council chambers. The hall is long, oak-paneled, and smells faintly of, ink and wax. Your advisors are already there, murmuring, heads bowed over scrolls that seem almost older than the castle itself. But the moment you enter and take your seat at the head of the table, the room falls silent. Because a queen, especially you, must always appear unflappable, even when half the kingdom's problems come charging in before you've had your morning honey cakes. Today's docket? Grain shortages in the western shires, merchant tariffs causing drama on the river borders. Oh, and 2 bull-headed dukes arguing over grazing lands again. The joys of monarchy.
Historians, bless them, still argue about whether queens in your era held real political power or whether you were just ceremonial figureheads. But in your court, when the queen speaks, things move. You lean forward, fingers steepled. Let us begin. First, the grain. Poor harvest, early frost. The master of stores looks anxious, but you listen, weigh every word, and then you make the call. An emergency levy from royal reserves, enough to hold the people until new shipments can be arranged. A good decision, made quickly. Next, border tariffs. The northern merchants are angry, and loudly so. So you commission a letter, diplomatic but firm, a velvet-wrapped brick of a message. Your chancellor will deliver it personally, with just the right emphasis. Subtlety can be such fun. And now, the dukes. You summon them privately. 2 red-faced, barrel-chested men, each more convinced of his own righteousness than the last. The argument boils, it rages. You sit still, listening. Then, calmly, clearly, you deliver a compromise so perfectly balanced that neither one can object without looking ridiculous. Proudly, they bow, grumbling, but they bow. Victory. The morning rolls on. Petitions, letters, long council sessions. Sometimes your eyes drift to the windows, to the sky beyond, so wide, so free, but this is your place, among ledgers and laws. Eventually, a tray appears, spiced wine, honeyed almonds. You nibble, sort of. The steward chuckles and mutters, "Midday meal forgotten again, Your Majesty." Guilty as charged. Later, in your solar, that sunlit room with its view of the gardens, the scribes arrive, scrolls in hand, seals to be placed, decrees to approve, each one read carefully, not just for the words, but the intent beneath. One scroll catches your eye. A distant abbey, damaged by storms, seeks help. You pause, consider. Monastic support is valuable, and their prayers can't hurt either. With a graceful flourish, you sealed the request. So be it. The afternoon softens. You take a walk, just you and one quiet attendant. The gardens are thick with the scent of crushed thyme and rose petals. Birdsong drifts from the hedges. The world outside feels far away. This moment, this stillness, it feels stolen, but you take it anyway. Gently amused, back in your chambers, there's a basket waiting. Letters from noblewomen across the realm, some asking for favors, some hinting at alliances. But just one makes you laugh out loud. A cheeky verse from a duchess known for her wit. You reply immediately. Even queens need friends. As night falls, the council reconvenes. The candles flicker, long shadows stretch across the polished wood. You listen, speak, decide. And finally, when the hour grows late, you rise. Weary, but resolute. Because let's be honest, a queen's work, it's never truly done.
Evening descends softly over the castle, its great stones soaking in the fading warmth of day. Below, in the courtyard, lanterns bob gently in the hands of servants making their rounds, preparing for the quiet little rituals that every night demands. You return to your chambers. The air, it's thick with the scent of lavender and beeswax. Your ladies-in-waiting flutter about like birds before a storm, drawing velvet curtains, placing fresh linens on the bed, stoking the glowing embers in the hearth. It's busy, yes, but comforting, a familiar rhythm in an unpredictable world. But tonight, oh, tonight, you're not going straight to sleep. No, no, no. You've planned a small indulgence. An evening in the castle library. Now that sacred room lies tucked away in a quieter wing of the keep. Stone-vaulted ceilings, shelves groaning under the weight of ancient vellum tomes, candles flickering in iron sconces, their glow painting soft gold across old tiles. It hums with stillness, reverence, the kind of silence you feel. Historians, you know them, still argue whether queens of your age could actually read, or if they just sat back and had everything read to them by clerks. But you, you're well-schooled. Latin, the vernacular, even a bit of poetry. You trail your fingers across the bindings, pausing on a slender manuscript of troubadour verse, and with a soft smile, you choose. You settle into a carved oak chair, plush cushions beneath you. The pages whisper as you turn them. Lines of longing and valor start to dance across your mind. For a moment, just one fleeting moment, you're not a queen. You're simply a woman lost in words. In the hush, the faint sound of a lute drifts through the stone corridors. Probably one of your musicians practicing for some upcoming feast. With a soft smile, you let the music wrap itself around your thoughts, a perfect little thread of melody. Later, your steward tiptoes in with a modest supper. Slices of soft cheese, warm bread, a jug of spiced wine. You nibble, distracted, completely immersed. The castle around you, it seems to breathe. Ancient stone and timber settling in for the night, just like you. Eventually, the hour grows late. Your eyes begin to blur. Words become waves. You mark your place, wrap the book gently, and return it to its home. The walk back is quiet. Tapestries sway in the draught. Your slippers make the faintest sound on the stone. Everything is still. Everything is safe. Your bed awaits, piled high with furs and fine linens. The hearth still glows, casting long shadows on your chamber walls. You slip beneath the covers, and your body finally begins to let go. One of your ladies brings a final cup, warm milk touched with honey. You sip it slowly, the sweetness lingers. Thoughts begin to float, treaties, festivals, distant abbeys and blooming gardens. Outside, an owl calls to the night, and the castle slumbers, its heartbeat steady and sure, and so do you. And now, with the castle hushed, with the last embers fading low, you let your eyes flutter closed. The weight of the day, the bustle of duty, all those small decisions and rituals, they melt into silence. The air is cool, fragrant. Beyond the curtains, stars scatter across a velvet sky, ancient light dancing on ancient stone. Here, in silk and shadow, you are safe. The burdens of rule, they can wait for dawn. Let your breath slow, your heart ease into rhythm, Let the sounds of the world hush into a soothing, distant hum. You are a young queen, at rest, in a grand, ancient castle. The walls stand strong, your people sleep peacefully, and the night, it stretches long and calm. So drift, dream, float softly into sleep. All is well, all is calm. Good night, Your Majesty.